Have you ever heard people say, just be kind to yourself, and thought, well, that sounds nice, but it feels impossible? If that's you, I want you to know something really, really important, okay? You ready? There's nothing wrong with you. I'm going to say it again. If for you, you find it really challenging to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate toward yourself, there's nothing wrong with you. My name's Venice, and I work with women who are in transition, mainly in midlife, okay? And in the work that I've done with women, one of the most common things that I see is and experience is women struggling with being able to be compassionate towards themselves. Like, it's really, really hard. And I will raise my hand to say I was the first one. I really do get what it's like. And it's just hard. It's like, I can't be compassionate to myself. I can't be kind to myself. I have all this like struggle and, I haven't done enough and blah, 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 right? I want to speak to that today. I want you to consider the reason why self-compassion feels so hard isn't because you're bad at it, okay? Consider it's because there are parts of you working really hard to keep you going, to keep you safe, and even to keep you functioning, even if they don't feel very kind. I say this a lot, to people. We're always having internal conversations with ourselves, even if we're aware of it or not. And we do have different sides of us. Some of us have really, really, intense sides of us, maybe working really hard or, just being really like driven or critical of ourselves. Okay. Those are just a couple of examples, but inside of you aren't problems. Inside of you are helpers. I'll take the example of the inner critic. I have had a strong inner critic, and that inner critic is like, you aren't doing it right, you screwed it up, you could have done it better, like all the reasons why I didn't get it right or I could have done it better. I have lived many, many years of my life with that voice, and what I've really been trying to do for most of my life is squash it, get rid of the inner critic. And the biggest discovery I've made in the past 3 years is to consider and look at the inner critic from a different view. And the view is that the inner critic is actually helping me. Yes! And so I'm giving an example of a specific kind of inner struggle that may make being compassionate or kind to oneself difficult. That inner critic that is really helping doesn't know how to rest, doesn't know how to be compassionate. And some of those like helpers that we have inside of us, they're terrified of what might happen if you soften, extend some kindness to yourself. So I really want you to get this, okay? Self-compassion isn't blocked because you don't want it. It's blocked because something inside of you thinks compassionate or compassion is dangerous. Now, I want to introduce a few common inner voices. I talked about my inner critic a moment ago, okay? And I'm sharing these with you not so you can go to work at getting rid of them. I am sharing them so that maybe you can create some space to begin to understand them. So there are 5 inner voices that make compassion hard. Self-compassion. Okay. This is the voice that says, well, the first one is the inner voice that pushes you really hard. This is the voice that says, come on, do better. Don't be weak. Keep moving. This part learned a long time ago that pushing you is how you survive. It does not trust slowing down. It does not trust kindness, because in this inner critic, this world inside, softness means falling behind. So this voice isn't mean. It's just scared of what happens if it lets go. I mean, imagine, like this inner voice that's really trying to help you. It wants you to keep moving. It wants you to do better. That's how it's helping. Okay? So the second inner voice is the inner voice that, that makes compassion seem really hard, is the voice that keeps score. This is the voice that tracks everything you didn't do right. It thinks if it points out your mistakes early, it can protect you from being embarrassed, rejected, or hurt later on. This inner voice believes compassion will make you careless. Okay? The third inner voice that makes compassion challenging is the one that says other people have it worse. This voice shuts compassion down by saying, don't complain, you should be grateful. Other people have real problems. That part that says other people have it worse learned that pain wasn't allowed unless it was extreme. It confuses compassion with selfishness. Okay? Now, I just said 3. Are there any of these 3 that you identify with? The one that pushes you hard, the one that keeps the score, or the one that says other people have it worse? Leave me a comment, okay? The fourth inner voice that makes compassion really hard is the part that numbs you or distracts you. This part, this inner voice says, let's not feel this. Scroll, stay busy, snack, don't pay attention to it. See, compassion invites feeling. This voice is trying to spare you from being overwhelmed. Now, it's not a lazy voice, okay? It's a protective voice. Okay. And that's one thing I really want you to take away. All these inner voices, I know for me, my reaction was, oh, I can't stand that. I have to get rid of it. I'm in no way suggesting that you go to work at trying to get rid of it, because it's not actually going to help. Okay. In a few moments, I'll give you like something you can do as, if you're like, oh my goodness, I totally resonate. I have like one of these or more than one. What do I do? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Okay. The fifth inner voice that makes compassion difficult and feeling nearly impossible is the inner voice that doesn't trust compassion. This one is huge. Some people hear the word self-compassion and they think that's fake. That will not work. Or I've already tried that before. This voice formed after disappointment, and it doesn't want you hoping for something that might fail. That voice that doesn't trust compassion, consider, It's guarding your heart. Now, here's the part that most people miss. You don't start with self-compassion. I'm going to say that again. Consider, you don't start with self-compassion. You start with curiosity. Because I just said, like, you may be like, what do I do about this? Oh my goodness, I've got all 5, right? Okay, I'm literally like giving you like an invitation as to what you do. The turning point is, instead of trying to be compassionate with yourself, maybe you could be curious. You don't have to force kindness. Like, I have to be kind to myself. I have to be compassionate with myself. That usually doesn't work. You get to know, you could get to know what's in the way. What's in the way of me with ease, being able to extend compassion and kindness to myself. That's the key. Now, I want to give you a simple practice, something you can do right now in literally less than 60 seconds, okay? And I invite you to practice, like even after this video, and you can give me comments or, let me know how it goes or questions, okay? I want you to take a moment, and if you are okay doing this, just close your eyes so you can kind of focus, okay? Think of a place in your life where you were hard on yourself. Now, instead of trying to be kind, ask inside, what is this part of me afraid would happen if I was gentle? You don't have to answer. Just notice what shows up when you ask that question. The moment you get curious, something softens without you forcing it. Now, you can open your eyes. I like to just kind of put my hand on my chest. It's a physical way to make contact with yourself. It's a gentle way to connect, okay? I want to give you this reassurance. You're not broken because compassion is hard. You are protected. And that protection doesn't need to be destroyed. It needs to be understood. This week, I invite you not to try to be kinder to yourself, okay? Just try noticing who inside of you resists kindness. And thank that inner voice for trying to help. That's where real change begins. Now, I just want to thank you for your time and attention. And I would love your comments, your feedback from this conversation. This is something I really, in working with women for a living, I find many women struggle with being compassionate toward themselves. Sometimes struggle with being compassionate towards others. Sometimes women can be compassionate with everyone else and not with themselves. So I invite you to really practice, take this on, and see what opens up. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.